Good morning, my dear friends. This video might be a kind of a slow because my internet is acting up, and you will see my mouth is not going along with the sound because of the problem with the internet. But I just decided to take uh, a, a look at this morning. I was listening to uh, Laurina Honor of Spoontv. Laurina seemed to be one of Liberia's best when it comes to female journalism, and with mature uh, attitude of dealing with journalistic issue, especially the program that she's come on and run. Uh, she doesn't rush. She maintains a very responsible, assertive look, uh, you know, about what she's passionate about, and as she discussed the issues on her program on Spoon Talk. I just want to. I'm not giving the commendation for favor from Spoon. I'm giving the commendation because, as a preacher uh, and one who believes in God, we should be in a position to rain praises on institution individuals when they do well. And at the same time, when they're not doing well, we should be able to come and say it. But I just want Liberian to know because of our social structure, of many years of conflict and so many academic social abandonment of Liberia. So people uh, rely. A lot of people rely on each other. A lot of people rely on each other and other people knowledge. Somebody says something sound good to them, they come and say like what the person says. Because we in a Liberia is a kind of a highly plagiaristic society where people don't know the difference between the issue of plagiarism. Plagiarism is uh, using somebody's work without getting their approval or making reference to them, because the professional way of doing it is that if somebody says something that makes sense, say, oh, according to this person at this time, said this. But if you try to make it your own and it's not your own, you have 100% limitation, in order to articulate whatever you want to articulate. That's the danger of it. But if you honor God, if you reference somebody's work or what somebody says, God also bless you to add that knowledge unto you. But if you try to steal somebody's knowledge, then you have a problem. So, uh, so she said she made a comment this morning when I listened to her, and I felt compassionate about it. I'm talking about Laurina. When I turned on my TV, my computer this morning, and today is February 3rd, 2025, and she was concerned about how Liberians are so angry. Why are people so angry? And she was saying it with compassion and concern, and it touched me. So, Lorena, I hope I didn't ask for permission, but I know you are a trained journalist. You prefer when you bring issue out. I know you expect for people to discuss it. So I know you're not going to have problem with me commenting on what you just said. I think it's important. That's the reason why I want to uh, follow up on it, and I hope I will have the opportunity to come on your show one of these days so that we can talk about issues. We need to take another side of discussing the Liberian problem. As we expose the evil in our society, we need to focus our attention on seeing how, as a people or community, the professional community like Spoontv and the issue of journalism and the way how they have done extremely well to keep the Liberian people informed. Like I said in one of my posts, I said if outside of Spoon TV, Liberia will be burned by now because everything that we're knowing that those people that are doing it were being having the courage to come and expose what happened. So God always come up with options for His people. And today I will be doing a, a topic on uh, let me see which book I'll be doing a topic uh, covering the book of what they call okay, I will get that later on. I don't want to guess. I'll be doing a presentation on the scripture to talk about uh, how you know the issue of collective efforts, how we can work as Liberians to come up with some collective effort to find a pathway to a genuine a recovery of Liberia, the error that is being made, how to focus our mind, who we think. We can look around the world and select people to see they will come, so they can come and help. Because people are stealing because they do not have the academic capability. So they saw John Amos stealing from age to age, and they grew up with a mind that whenever they get that, they're going to steal their own. But they are not looking at the curses that will follow them and follow them onto that generation because John stole, so I will steal. You know. So I start by this morning to express a concern why people are angry. People are angry because when people lost their mind for so many years, especially that 14 years of war that took place in a highly illiterate country where you had not by the will of the citizen to be illiterate. It was by the will of past leaders who came and saw the problem and jumped over it. There's one who came and decided to solve it and died in the process, in the person of Dr. William Aratoba. I will always say that. And when he died, nobody picked up the issue of trying to see how we can develop leadership in our country. Okay? We take one Boakai, we've been knowing him to be a quiet guy. Nobody know his character except for his wife and those that are close to him. Know the actual man, but we know him to be a quiet old man. And he had become president for the country. He two terms as vice president Honor Ellen Johnson, and Ellen Johnson is an academia, a very strong woman. Honor Ellen Johnson for two terms, and he take over the country, and like he's just starting from square one. Sometimes they got something what you call individual differences and individual propensity. The individual propensity is is has to be with who the person is. We see him at this over the years. Did we take our time to really find out if this person we're looking at is there was any other thing beyond who he is? So now we see that because people see his weakness, those surrounding him that was handpicked for a specific reason, and now he's kind of paralyzed. And the nation, when the leaders of any nation begin to perish, if we're not careful, those not careful together and take a stand, the nation, the leader perish along with the nation. That's what happened to a kind of nation. So Laurina talk about how people mad. Yeah, people mad because the frustration, the percentage of 90% being frustrated for many, many decades. 90% of Liberians being frustrated. And the war came and made it worse. So people look around. They hear about all of this corruption issue, and they cannot get a hand on anything. They want to be like somebody. They want to go to school. They want to take care of the family. They cannot do it because they can't get their hands on money. And most of them, 90% of the Liberians right now, they are all trying to steal before they can survive. So if somebody, you see somebody angry, it's something that he has looked north, south, east, and west, and he cannot put A, B, C together. He cannot figure out one, the difference between number one and number two. He looked north, south, east, and west, and he don't want to go and rob anybody because it's very risky. He don't know what he's going to survive. So when all that thing compiled in the minds of people, and the human being, we are social being. And as long as our mentality is surrounding this head, the brain, the medulla oblongata, the one that process the various senses that make you to feel if fire is burning you, to feel if the weather is cold, that feeling, that process, that central nervous system of the human body that does the communication, that part has failed an individual. He load not sought, he cannot find his way clear. So the only thing that come on when the man get hungry and the man begin to lose his soul, he get the next thing that come is anger. Because that's how Satan uses God's people. He's bring about this hardship on people so that when they go to church over a couple of weeks and they cannot find anything that the message is telling them, then Satan come and make them vulnerable to these things. You see, to try the example, in Matthew 4, Matthew 11:4, when Jesus went in the desert to fast and pray for 40 days and 40 nights, Satan was sitting on the side, following because Satan, what he does is that he walks behind us day after day. As you're walking, he's the one that behind. He is the one behind because usually Jesus is in front. So if you're behind Jesus, your back is turned. So Satan will come behind you because he see you looking at Jesus, but he behind you finding the least mistake you're going to make so that he can utilize it for his kingdom. That how Satan operate with man. The three probabilities. Jesus in front because you know him, he and the angels, and then you right behind Jesus. Then behind you, Satan find a spot behind you to track you. So these guys, these people that you see Laurina that's getting mad, they have looked for all of the options and they're not working for that person, so they're just mad. I was in Liberia 2017, 2018. When I arrived in Liberia in September 2017, the issue of the missing money, I know $16 billion. I have always known Liberian people to be unserious, majority to be unserious. They don't take anything serious. But I'm telling you, I used 4 months of my time in Liberia to lament, to walk the streets. I used to walk from Gaytown straight to Broad Street, Freeport, on my feet because I said 27 years. If I drive, I will not see anything. So I walk to interact. And it was the hurt of that $16 billion. Every time you pass, you just see people like this. You know, Liberian men talking like this. They just turn their hand like this, turn their hand like this. When people, they kind of money here. The people take the kind of money here. Yeah, people suffering here. The people take the kind of money here. Whether that $16 billion, whether that was realistic, it was real thing, but it was realistic because I was close to people who knew the story. It was real. It was two containers of money. One went to central bank, and the other one, the vault of four, it couldn't fit, and they decided to take it to Housing, the Housing Bank, right down the hill, to take it to put it there because they want the central bank was full. That truck that was carrying that container, whether it flipped over in the Atlantic Ocean, because you know if you come from up Snapper Hill, and one is side. Right along on top of the peak of and underneath is the Atlantic Ocean, and you go down a steep hill. On the left hand side, you'll see Hudson Bank somewhere there to that water side. That's the place it will go. Maybe that truck fell over in the ocean and nobody realized it and it's still underneath there. But that truck on its way to the bank, the money did not find a way into the vault to Hudson Bank. So that what brought that frustration. And so you can imagine 2017, the level of anger that people had that have never been solved because the 6 years of George Weah presidency made it worse, and people were angry. And that anger came when people decided to walk certain way. That's why I follow everything and make sure to put it on my page so that when years and years come, it will come as a memory. People walk because they were tired. They thought that they had an option. And I'm not giving up because they say bad beginning get a good ending. But they also say when the child, the way the child crawling on a belly, it will determine how soon that child going to walk. That's what I know. But you can still have hope. The mother will still have hope that one day her child run because every evening she will decide to hold that child and walk with him. You'll be crying, crying, you'll put it in the mud and walk with him. Practice how to walk. Because when you start practicing that child that crawling on a belly, you start practicing how to walk with it. Eventually the child brain will pick up the idea of getting up to walk. So that what happening to Boakai administration right now. That child stay on his belly, trying to crawl. But if you want that child to walk faster, you got to pick it up. And the way to pick it up, that's what Spoon TV step in the gap to expose every evil. So, and government officials not even thinking, how is it that Stanton getting his hand on all this information? Because God says so. This young man, apart from being a journalist, he has he has committed himself to finding the problem on a daily basis and report it. It's intended for us to correct what we're hearing from Spoon. But who is there to correct it? So this is where we're at right now. So Laurina, to answer that question, the people are angry because they are for frustration is followed by anger. Endless frustration, endless frustration. Okay. And most of the time it results into anger. And if you don't have a social service personnel or someone or pastor that will talk to you and make sense to you and make a way that wherever got you frustrated, they find a way to help you to solve it. And you lose north, south, east, and west, find anything, you're going to begin to see it in the life of the people, in the street, everywhere. So I just came by this morning when I heard Laurina Honda saying that it's a very important topic. Whatever thing that she saw, why people so angry, why are Liberians so angry? Many decades, since something that started many decades, it was overlooked. Two presidents died in deadly, I mean, in a terrible manner within those years. One is in jail because he knew God. God did not hold him totally. He had a good intention of coming to change the system to help the country. But because of the minds of the people that he had to use, because 90% illiteracy rating, who tell the few educated guys he had around him, MPRAG had some top educated guys, genuine educated people. But at the end of the day, Taylor could not deal with. I remember vividly when Charles Taylor made one of his speeches during his administration. He said it. He referred to the people from the House of Representatives. He described them as because they were making demands and they were paying it, they were making demand. They were not even receiving the salary that this other one receiving now. And Taylor went to the point of asking the Minister of Finance to move the Minister of Finance to his house. Whether that was a right decision, but it was a level of Taylor frustration at that time to ask the Minister of Finance to move the money to his house to make sure that control. So the corruption was flying everywhere in administration. And he described it as those men up the mountain there, Capitol Hill, with the wearing that necktie, look, the banana leaf on that neck with quota and things there, and the country money is just there, they can't satisfy. I remember I listened to that statement. He referred to that wearing banana leaf on that neck. He was describing that necktie, tailor the half hour, tailor way. And today, here we are. We've gone all these years and it's beginning like this. So, to conclude, I come back with a scenario of the child that's crawling on its belly. The mother, the father, I'm saying because I grew up, my sister was born and plenty children, taking care of them. That's why I started taking care of children. Because we learn how to clean them, change diaper, feed them, we learn all of that. So we know. So as I conclude, from Laurina, frustration about how people are so angry. And then there's a government that is completely dislodged. So the how fast and how soon the child will walk, depending on how the child begin to crawl. They got some of them when they crawling, the one that walk fast. When they crawling, they move on their belly, put a hand and put a butt up and walk on their feet and crawling. Those one, they don't take no time to walk. But those one that on their belly and crawling a snake, if the parent don't make effort to hold their hand every day and walk with them, so the brain can be adjusted to them walking rather than crawling in the belly, they will be there for months and they will crawl. It will take them very long time to get out to even start learning how to take steps. That's the scenario that we got. People are angry because they do not see hope. Hope is nowhere in sight, and nobody is proving any hope. Because number one, I would say we all fear and favor that presently Liberia do not have any constitution running. As long as it was messed up on Capitol Hill, and it's still that way, they're finding a way to indict people rather than finding a way to solve that problem and bring the group back together, which means there's no law in Liberia presently. And that's one of the reasons why people frustrated and people angry because they do not see any hope. My dear daughter and sister, keep on your good work as one of the best female journalists. You got my support, my support for prayers, my support for pushing to go to the highest. And I want to thank God for Sis Titi and Stanton, Sis Titi, children play, Sylvester children play, Damas Nanga, my son, what they call, oh man, what about it? They're my son, uh, oh my goodness. My own parents' son, man. Okay, I was thinking what I mean. Okay, all of them, all this Spoontv young children who making the sacrifice all over the country collecting information and keeping up. I ask God blessing on Spoontv and all of the journalists, both the female and male journalists. Thank God for you people. May God continue to help you guys to expose the evil in our country. And then we can find a way to deal with the evil that's going on and get together and pray. Do individual prayer. Until that nation is cleansed, we're not going to get nothing. Liberians said nothing until that nation is cleansed. From its foundation, what all happened in our country with blood, human blood, up to this present is not clean. Joseph Boakai, you wasting your time. Because before your inauguration, after, came up with a video for the nation to be cleansed if you wanted your government to be successful. Whether you got a message or not, on YouTube, on Facebook. I said my own. How many years ago? And here we are. So if I were lying, because I can say, who a prophet? And the prophet said, God gave you spiritual mind. When you preaching the gospel, you got spiritual mind. And when you are educated, you know how to judge between two factors and solve that problem. That's it. But when the real prophecy come directly from God, he do it in a way that people will marvel over it. Because you just stand right away and you see an individual and the Holy Spirit will just come with that message in your mind. You'll be when you close your eye, you'll see everything like a movie, and you'll see all the things. And while you're seeing the movie, you're interpreting it, and people see it. I have seen live prophecy in my life, and I know how it works. Because when the bishop called me to tell me my future, my spiritual future, he first prophesied on a child that we never planned to have. We are going through hell. We don't know how it happened. He started with that prophecy of the birth of that girl and described her complexion 100% also today. The same, she looked exactly how the bishop thought that the mother and myself, nobody, when her sister was 4 months old. So when I know how prophecy worked on the days of the Bible and in present and the one that worked in my life. So that one I know. Before he went to disclose God relationship with me. So, and he said this road is not the easy road. If you want to travel to heaven, you have to empty every heavy load. And those that are angry, they are not able to empty the heavy load that on them. That's why they are getting so angry, my daughter. Thank you for that topic. May you bring it on. That fun time. I will be willing to come to discuss why people are so angry, looking at the biblical perspective and the social perspective, why people are so angry, and what we need to do as people of God to begin to seek the face of God for our country. God bless and have a blessed day. We meet again on the block, on the block, on the block, on